Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
Oh, it's an honor to talk always about peace. You're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you talk more about how haiku is an art form and nonviolence are related for you? You've been writing haikus
for a long time.
long time.
It's an amazing form, you know. The haiku has no aggression. It has no war. It has no. I mean, there's nothing. And I always say there's no fat attached to it. It's lean. You know, it's lean and mean, as someone said. One of the kids said, but I said no, it's not mean, but it's lean. You know, it's there's no meanness attached to it. You know, it's a very, as one of the children said, a very cool form, and it is. But what it does is that it captures that moment, you know, that emotion, you know, and it quite often ties up, does it not, nature and self. The nature of self, you know, and in a sense the nature of nature, and we find out just how closely aligned they all are. So if I can teach a child and a college student and a grad student the beauty of nature, you know, and then also the beauty of the nature of self, you know, I've begun to in a sense, get them intrigued with the idea of the beauty of peace. This haiku that at some point is what I use every morning. I get up, I write a haiku. My last book was called Morning Haiku, but because I had so many haiku floating around, and when they asked me for a book, I said, yes, I'll do Morning Haiku. But, you know, I had all these haiku that I've been doing every morning. But what it does is a discipline. You know, it prepares me for the day, just as my walk, my 3 miles every morning prepare me for the day also, too, as I walk. This haiku is my form of meditation, that it grounds me, and it makes me truly understand that as I go out each day, I must take the idea of the haiku with me, the idea that the haiku is peace is a haiku song. This haiku is really about peace. And so when I teach children the haiku, I don't go in and teach the form. I immediately teach them how to breathe. And in teaching them the breath coming from here and teaching them when they breathe in, the stomach distends, they are utterly amazed at that. Because, of course, you know, when I tell them they observe little babies, that's what happens with babies. But their breath has not been in a sense, what word do I want to use? Compromise. Mm-hmm. You know, we get older, you know, like when we're young, children are so truthful, they tell the truth or whatever. When children are little, they also breathe. The breath is not compromised. But we get older and people begin to tell us things, and we go out in a way and things stun us, and so the breath becomes compromised. So we breathe from here and from here and from here and from here. When I teach them to breathe from here, they are amazed. They cough sometimes, you know, and then I make them, but I'm teaching them how to live, because breath is life, I tell them. If you don't breathe properly, you're not going to probably maybe, you know, live for a very long time. So they're amazed by the breath coming from here. And we do that, and I let them count to a certain amount of time, but it also calms the class. You know, we give our children pills to calm them down. If we teach them how to breathe, that calms them down too. It's a natural way of controlling that activity. And then I teach them also how to listen to each other's heartbeat. I make them pair up, you know, they face each other, and then I take my right hand and I place my right hand on my partner's heart, and my partner would place her or his right hand on my heart. Now, sometimes I pair up with a young male who begins to put his hand up by the heart, but there's the breast there. So you have to say, oh, it's only a breast. You know, my children, you know, I fed my children with this breast. It's not porno. And they fall out laughing on the floor, you know. So again, you get them very, you know, easy. And it's easy that he can put the hand there. But I put my hand on his heart. He puts his hand on my heart. Then I cover his hand, right? Okay? And he covers my hand on his heart. And then I said, okay, by this time the class, they're doing it, but they're noisy. So I said, shh, everyone keep quiet. Now let's listen to each other's heartbeat. An amazing thing happens in that class when it becomes quiet. They hear a human heartbeat, which means they hear a human being, which means their eyes go up from the hands to the eyes, and they make contact, and they see a human being, not a schoolmate, not someone to get mad at, not someone to scream at, not someone to hustle, not someone to, beat up. A human being. And the moment you can make that human contact in the classroom, you got a class. Then and only then do you teach the haiku with its beauty and its peace, whatever. And it flows from the fingertips then, because at that point, we realize that this haiku is shared vision in that classroom. It means also too that at some point when I talk about peace for them, and they do a haiku on their own, it's not peace, and then I help them to do a peace haiku. Sometimes by have writing the first line, right? They move at a different level, but I can feel the peace in the class. I mean, it's a different class, from when I walked into this new class, and it was like up here someplace, and I guess all I'm saying, that the one haiku, the two haiku that happened, in that classroom, it's an amazing moment. And they know, they can feel something's happening there. And they say things like, well, you're coming back. We're going to continue this. And I said, well, yeah, I'll be back. We'll continue this. But it is indeed that moment that you begin to understand the importance of not only the haiku, but the importance of peace, for our children, the importance of the breath for our children, the importance of eating properly for our children also too. When I do free association exercises with them, I bring in a rice cracker, and they just crack up like, what's this thing, right, ever? I've never tasted it, but they write from what it tastes like, and so you pass it out, but it's a rice cracker, it has seaweed in it. They taste it, and they want to not like it, but eventually they do. They keep chewing and ask for another one. One, they're hungry, for one thing, so you can get them to eat it, right? But what I'm saying simply is that you then, in a sense, invade everything that has to do with what they eat, also what they think, how then I tell them every morning they wake up, before they move, they must write a haiku in the morning. It will help them begin to move in the house. They must keep a journal, a haiku journal also too. And I show them mine, and I read them what I do. And every morning, so at the end of 31 days, they have this book of haiku. And I said, in just the writing of it, you would begin to breathe in a different fashion as you write. So yeah.